Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fresh Voices Forum. I am Norman Robinson, your lovely and talented moderator for this forum. And just to let you all know, tonight is about hearing from candidates who've never held elected office, voices that are often overlooked, but bring fresh perspectives and bold new ideas to the challenges, the many challenges that face our cities. And that's been one clear criteria that we want to make clear. And we've been upfront about it from the very beginning in the planning for this forum tonight. Across New Orleans, there have been plenty of forums where organizers decide who gets the microphone. That's their choice, and of course, that's fine. But with so many voters still undecided, we here at Fresh Voices believe it is only fair to either open the stage to all qualified candidates or be crystal clear about the rules from the start. Because when voters understand the why behind the who's up here, trust grows. And right now, trust is exactly what New Orleans needs more of. Now, I will lay out the format for our candidates and for the audience. We will begin with a 20 to 30 second opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves. And then we will pivot to three big ideas. Where each candidate presents three actionable ideas, 5 minutes each. And we will have a common topic round where candidates respond to 5 rotating policy questions. They'll get 1 minute each, and these questions come from me, but they were designed by the Fresh Voices Committee. My questions, believe me, would be very different. Then we move on to the lightning round where you'll get to answer yes or no. And after that, we will have questions, a few questions from the audience. Questions, not statements, hopefully. And then we will move to the final segment, which is called the final word. And that's our closing segment, which each candidate delivers a 90-second final statement. So if you overtalk your time limit, there will be a bell from our timekeeper. There you go. Old school. I love it. So let's get started. We will begin with the candidates introducing themselves, starting with candidate number 1.
Hello, everybody. First, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I'd like to thank Frank Janusa for organizing this. My name is Russell Butler. butlerfornolamayor.com. My background is in construction, engineering, project management, and technology. And my focus is on getting infrastructure in New Orleans back in shape.
Thank you. Candidate number 2.
Good evening. Thank you guys for this opportunity tonight, and thank you guys for your time for being here. My name is Renata Collins. I'm a New Orleans native. And like many of you may or may not have been ready to leave the city of New Orleans, so was I. But God said, Renata, don't run from the city, run for the city. As a direct result, I'm here listening to the community needs, their desires. So my overall objective is making you priority. My number is 18 on the ballot. And together we will make New Orleans a better place for us all. Thank you.
Candidate number 3.
Hi there, I'm Frank Skurlock. I appreciate the opportunity to be here as well. And what a wonderful thing this city's doing by bringing us all together. And that's exactly what's not happening at City Hall. It's very divisive. It's a who you know. It's, who do you have to push to get something done? Shouldn't be that way. We are all stakeholders and the city belongs to us. I was born here. I was educated here. And I look forward to sharing not only a platform on business, but public safety, we have to admit, is first and foremost the most important thing we need to correct in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate number 4.
My name is Ricky Twiggs Jr. I am a licensed professional counselor and supervisor, and I believe more than ever, New Orleans does not need another politician in the seat of mayor. We need an actual healer in that seat, which is why I'm running for office. I believe that we have got to heal the division that has occurred since Hurricane Katrina. Thank you guys so much.
Candidate number 5.
That might be me. I don't have the number in front of me. My name is Frank Robert Janusa. I'm a practicing CPA. I was born in this city. I was raised in this city. I was educated in this city, and I'm still here in this city. I am convinced that while the city has many problems, whether it's economic or infrastructure or God knows what else, one of the biggest problems is how the city government runs itself. It has an overbloated budget. It does too many things. It's intrusive into people's lives, and that's something that needs to change. As a guy who deals in numbers from the time he wakes up in the morning till he goes to bed at night, this is something that I'm familiar with. I know back and forth, and I think I've got the background, the information, the skill set to make a change happen, a change that will benefit our future.
Thank you. Candidate number 6.
Number 6. My name is Eileen Carter, and I'm running for mayor because I love my city. I think many of you saw that in 2022 when I stood up and I co-chaired the recall. Our elected leaders did not listen to us then. They were silent. They were silent on the terrorist attack, and that was actually on our list on the recall. You can go online, it's still there. But many of you don't know that I was raised by Ken Carter. He was the first Black elected assessor in the state of Louisiana. He took on giants. He took on the tobacco industry and won. We will win together.
Thank you. Candidate number 7.
Hi, my name is Manny Chevrolet, the original troubled man for troubled times. This is my 5th time running for mayor of this great city. It'll probably be my 5th time losing. I've tried over the years to make radical change with the citizens. We keep electing these career corrupt politicians, and we're talking about the same issues that I was talking about when I ran against Ray Nagin the first time. So trouble never ends, but the struggle continues. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate number 8.
Thank you. My name is Joe Bicklage Jr., and I'm a small business owner in the service industry now. I've been in many different aspects of corporations and corporate America, but when I had a chance to move back to New Orleans, I took it. And now I think that as the last area that I would like to get involved with is to help the city get back on its feet. I think the city lacks management. We've got talented people, but we need managed. And I hope that I could be that person.
Thank you very much. Moving on to round number 2. 3 big ideas. Each candidate receives 5 uninterrupted minutes. And the question is, what are your 3 boldest ideas to reshape New Orleans, and how would you put them into action as mayor? Since we began here with candidate Butler, we will now start from that end with Mr. Bicklage.
I didn't like this question because while we're trying to work on new and big ideas, we can't do our basics. And you're not going to, no matter if you have the greatest idea in the world, if you can't give people protection from crime or deliver them drinking water or keep them from flooding, or you're not going to get any growth. You're not going to be able to have any big ideas. No one's going to want to buy into your dream. We go through that all the time in our lives when we say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. People go like, you can't get out of bed until 9. You can't maintain your own car. You haven't done this. And it's a struggle. And I think what this city really needs is it needs management. We've got a lot of talented people out there. I don't want to get elected to spend my first 2 years putting in a whole new administration And then people expect you as a politician to start campaigning for your next one. I'm not interested in being governor or senator or getting an appointment. I want to straighten the city out. I could have lived a lot of places. I could have moved a lot of places. I came back to New Orleans, and it's a shame what's being done here. I think we lack management. We lack foresight. So I'd like to get involved and get crime, the whole gamut of crime, from policing to maintaining the sustainment for the consent decree, and from the jailing and prosecuting, and we get the crime cleared up, people will want to come to this city. Infrastructure. You can have the greatest city in the world, but you turn on that faucet and the water doesn't come out, it's just, you're done. And that can happen at any time. That can happen at any time. So we need to work on our infrastructure. And I know, and the last one is commerce and growth. We are the best at festivals and having a good time, and having people come from all over the United States and the world coming to New Orleans to experience it. And we shouldn't be throwing that aside. That's what we're best at. And we're trying to do new stuff before we have the basics done. And the basics are actually eroding away at what we're good at. So that's, are they big ideas? Yeah, it's a great idea to want to take care of your basics needs. That's what I'm going to concentrate on is management. And that's why they called it administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
Yeah, I've got ideas, big ideas, bold ideas. I've had them for years now. One of them, since we're celebrating the anniversary of Katrina, and we still have, after 20 years, we still have damaged houses, blighted properties, and nothing's been done. I've said this for years. This city loses power constantly. You know who can rebuild this city? The Amish. The Amish don't even need electricity to build houses. Bring the Amish down. Also, my city hall will have full transparency. Now that's bold. No patronage. I have nothing to hide, no friends to pay off. In fact, I don't have any friends at all. Also, my last bold idea would be to have 9-day weekends. It would give us a lot more time to waste on festivals and parades. Trust me, that'll be bold. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Bruno. Candidate Carter.
My big three, it was hard to kind of wiggle it down with so much going on in New Orleans, but actually these three are on my website, so eileencartermayor.com. My big three are a 90-day state of the city, an office of education, and a reverse the exodus plan to come home and rebuild our city. So the 90-day state of the city, what that includes is when I'm your mayor, when I go in, because I've been a city worker, there are certain things I know, there are certain intricacies that I know. Guess what? Every director, I want you to partner with an expert and a resident. And we are going to do an overhaul of every department in 90 days. I want you to give a report to your shareholders about what's going on in the city. We have been lied to for too long. We're going to get the truth. Office of Education. Guess what? Too many hands in the bucket now. We need a hub. And I'm not talking about oversight. I'm talking about coordination. And we actually already have a template for this. It's the Office of Criminal Justice Coordination. But guess what? We need to fix that too, because that's not working. So if you didn't know that there was a mayor's Office of Criminal Justice Coordination, there is one. And the last one is reverse the exodus. So my plan is 5 points. Housing, safety, which includes getting our young people jobs. My priorities is our young people, number one, across the board. I'm gonna look at that in everything we do, and how can I put money in their pockets, and how can I stop taking money out of people's pockets? Because New Orleanians, we're tired, we're traumatized by either crime or weather, and we need some relief. Some of us just need a love and a hug. And of course, infrastructure. Y'all remember when we snaked the pipes a couple of years ago when we found the sofas and the cars? Let's check it out. Let's see what's in there. But we need project management across the board. I want actually a hub office in City Hall to make sure all of our project management across the city is done correctly. We need to rebuild our workforce. We're putting all the money in consultants. We need to put it in our pockets. And then, of course, economic development, workforce development, community outreach. New Orleans is Louisiana sportsman's paradise, right? We can have so many sports and events. We need to bring stuff here. We're hot during the summer. Our restaurants are slow. A taste of New Orleans indoors, right, with our restaurants. Let's get creative. Joe Brown, let's bring back our talent shows. Let's do things for our children. Get them involved, put some money in their pockets. Some some of these city jobs, guess what? Come work for us. You know what? Cleaning catch basins, they do these things over the summer with these summer programs. Let's figure out how we could pay people maybe once a week, clean the catch basins, clean the graffiti, some of these jobs. People need that income, and maybe we can do that as a city. And we need to quicken the process to get the job. I was talking to this gentleman. He wanted to work for the city. His resume was immaculate. 5 months, y'all. He stopped. He stopped the process. He's like, I couldn't wait anymore. I really wanted to work for the city. Our morale is down. We have got to take care of our people. I grew up when we were a family of neighborhoods. We are not that anymore. We need to bring that back. Our booster clubs, our parks. I'm part of Harrell Park Uptown. My son played there for 8 years. I was a concession stand lady for 3. And so they're important. And it's funny because they're in the 17th ward and my number is 17. So for all my Harrell family around the city, you know, blue and yellow, Harrell for life. And I'm calling you out to come join me, Eileen Carter for mayor, in all the parks, you know, all of our high schools. You know, that could be a fun thing where we get people involved, you know, like what high school do you go, little competitions, anything to bring New Orleans back, because we lost a little bit of that through our hurricanes. And I want to bring our people back, you know, put them into these houses. Our trust fund, let's prioritize our essential workers and those who moved away. I don't care if you moved to Slidell or Seattle, we want you home. We want to get rid of this blight. We want to, you know, get our economy churning, and we want our neighbors back. We can do it together. Community outreach. So if y'all didn't know, I was the social media manager for the city of New Orleans. So I did walk next to the mayor every day for 3 years, approximately 3 years. So I've responded to COVID. I've responded to Hard Rock. I was down there for the first 9 days. I have responded to the cyber attack. I have responded to hurricanes. In 1 year, we had to activate 9 times. I was an essential worker. My son and I slept at City Hall on blow-up mattress. I am ready on day one, the same way they are. And my point is, if they had a plan, they should have used it by now. I gave y'all a plan, actually, kind of a template in nolatoya.org. I said, hey, y'all, we need to pay attention to this thing. We had almost 50,000 registered voters say the same thing. So it wasn't just me they ignored you too. And so I'm asking y'all to remember that and not just forget. These are those leaders. What committees do they chair? Pay attention to those things. Who chairs the Economic Development Committee of the City of New Orleans? They're asking for a promotion right now. Who chairs the Criminal Justice Committee? They're asking for a promotion right now. They don't deserve one.
Thank you, Candidate Carter. Candidate Janusa.
One of the things that concerns me so much about the city is that it is not, excuse me, responsive to the needs of the people. I had an unfortunate incident a couple of weeks ago bringing a friend who had a problem with the assessor's office. It took 2 trips, a couple uploads of some files, and about a 2-week delay to get a simple matter handled. Another case in point, in front of my very own home in Lakeview, we finally had a new street after some 48 years. About 4 months ago, water started percolating up from the asphalt in the street. I called 311, tried to get a response, and they said, well, that's really not our bailiwick. You need to contact Sewage and Water Board. And I did. And I was under the impression that they were going to contact me at some point in the future to tell me that things would, get a service call number, get a date for completion. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I decided to call back today and ask that same question. And they said, I said, I would like to get a return email and maybe get a work order number, who the supervisor is, so who I can get a response from. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. I said, you can't send me an email. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a property owner. And I'm also a candidate for mayor. And when I'm elected mayor, this circumstance will change for the people who call the Sewage and Water Board or call the assessor's office. Now, those are relatively minor things, but they were important because they impact our daily lives. Another thing that's of great concern to me, and one of the things that I want to tackle, is that the economic geniuses in our city have indicated that we've got 20 million people roughly coming to the city of New Orleans every year, spending $9.6 billion in our city. I'm not talking about spending it in Kenner and Araby and Mandeville. $9.6 billion should generate $480 million of sales taxes. We don't collect $480 million of sales taxes. There's a gap. Gap needs to be found. Gap needs to be closed. Third and last thing, we've got city assets that are underutilized and that need to be reworked, sold, so that we can bring prosperity to the people who can actually participate in the growth and income of some of the two specific assets, which I'll discuss probably later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Candidate Janusa. Candidate Twiggs.
I think it's actually pretty interesting that what we are asking for is the bare minimum. Isn't that a travesty that has happened? We want our streets fixed. We want the sewage and water board to work. We don't want our streets to flood. That is the absolute bare minimum that we are asking for. Isn't that a shame? What I propose is not radical at all. What I propose is common sense. Right now, the city of New Orleans is sitting on $650 million of untapped Hurricane Katrina relief funds. Why haven't we spent that money on our infrastructure? I am demanding that City Council cut the check and demand that this happens as soon as possible. We have to allocate that money in order to get our citizens to work. The very fact that that money sits there is a travesty to each and every one of us. It goes to further the injustice that we have suffered since Hurricane Katrina. My big three are very, very simple. The first one is infrastructure. We need to get our people working again. We have to invest in public works. When we invest in public works, we offer scholarship funds to our community members to get them back to work. They have been denied this opportunity for far too long. And how dare we deny our community from having first access to these funds that sits at public works untapped. Instead, what we do is we offer this money to contractors to come in and to pillage us repeatedly, which is why we are in the predicament that we are in today. Each and every single one of us should be furious with what has happened here. My next thing that we should do is take Entergy New Orleans and restore it as NOPSI. The very fact that this hasn't happened yet is mind-blowing to me. The very fact that the Sewage and Water Board does not sit under Public Works should infuriate every single one of you, because it is your tax dollars that are going to waste. The community continues to flood. And what is their response? Silence. Listen, the other part of this is to activate hydropower. We have the Mississippi River. Why haven't we tapped into this resource? You develop battery bank facilities throughout the region and microgrids to support solar energy. And guess what we could potentially have? Free energy for everyone living in the city of New Orleans. Isn't it about time that we start to write dividend checks back to you? I believe so. And Entergy New Orleans under city control can do that. The next thing that I offer is to revitalize mental health in our community. We have got to get serious. We don't have any significant trauma investment in our city, and we have suffered the greatest natural disaster that has hit the entire US. Why haven't we invested in our community in this way? Instead, we let them suffer. We allow them to become homeless. My solution is to revitalize Charity Hospital and Lindy Boggs. And let's get serious about restoring the culture of our city, because I haven't heard that from anyone that is currently running. It is about time that we stand up for what we have lost and we fight back. My goal as well is to restructure how City Hall operates and functions. The seat of mayor has been a historical problem. You have heard it from every single politician. The mayor stands in my way. Every 4 years, you hear the same thing. The mayor is in my way. The mayor is in my way. Well, how about this? Here's the solution. Dissolve the office of mayor and open up more city council seats to represent the 9th Ward that has been historically neglected, to offer Treme a city council member. That way they can speak for their culture and preserve it. What we do not have is anyone with creativity to drive us out of the hell that we are in. Isn't it about time that we stand up for our community and demand what we are due and what we are owed? Wake up, people. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Twig. Moving on to our next candidate, candidate Sturlock.
Thank you very much. Before we get going, I wanted to recognize a few people in the audience. We have two other people running, Mr. Cutno, Mr. Baptiste. They're running for, I believe, different positions, and Royce was here. Oh, I'm sorry, and then we have that too. So the point that I did bring that up, it's the unity. And each of us, we've already seen, is so passionate. And you're passionate, and you've demonstrated by showing that you've decided to show up today. The reality is we're a very small percentage in our wonderful big city. We all have trigger points in our mind of what does it really take to happen for us to leave? We see the articles, we hear. I've had a 30-day rule for past 20 years. I've got to go somewhere. This morning, it's true, I flew in from Disney World. I had meetings this weekend in Orlando. Why did I do that? Because it takes business. It takes an economy. We talk about 20 million people. The mayor of Orlando on the monorail this morning said 70 million people a year just go through the Orlando airport. Think about that commerce. We were supposed to be Disney World, if you know the history. So let me tell you what really this is about. First and foremost, my slogan is very simple. It's no nonsense. It's just business. That's real it is. We have to sadly accept the giant mess that we're in today. It's so gargantuan. I don't actually know where to start besides unplugging it, let it go down, and then rebuild it with the people like on this panel here that actually care. This is our city. It's not their city. I'm not quite sure why each of the persons at City Hall, other than a paycheck, I've heard we have 6,000 employees. I honestly don't know what they do. And I don't even think anybody else, with the exception of we know that they get paid. So how do you do that? Let me tell you, it's real simple. The question is big three. Number one, public safety. We don't need to do anything until we can restore faith and trust in being able to freely walk outside of our house, drive down a street, go into a business without interference from somebody else or feel like we're going to be a victim. I do own properties outside of the city. My property in Orlando, I don't even lock the door. I feel such at peace. I keep my keys in my car because neighbor looks after neighbor, and we have a government and law enforcement that actually cares. The reason they care because they're protecting their greatest asset. Imagine what would happen if they would have crime like this down there. They would fall apart. We've heard the horrible murder rates in New Orleans in the French Quarter. It was sad. They actually had a tally on some businesses. Come on, people. And let's wake up. When the Super Bowl was here, just after the terrorist attack on New Year's Eve, the federal government came in and basically took over. We heard yesterday, President Trump said he's taken over DC. I think we need to basically do the same thing. And you know what? If it wasn't for Russell Honoré, what he did in Katrina, because it was lawlessness, even under Bush and stuff, it was a mad world. And when Ray Nagin called out, let's not forget that phone call, he then said, I'm sending somebody. And when Russell Honoré came here, he said, it stops now. We need another stops now moment and to restore this whole city. And once we feel comfortable there, then little by little, we'll start rebuilding our schools, rebuilding the businesses. Then people will see a change. New Orleans is not our home. New Orleans is our culture. It is a way of a lifestyle that we've been inbred since day one. I don't know what your first memory was, but one of mine was on Canal Street with my parents on Mardi Gras Day with picnic baskets, watching wrecks go down the street. We don't have that anymore. Those we come and we go and we hope that we didn't be a victim of something, and that's just not right. So how do we do it? It's about business. So all I can tell you is what I've done, and it's true. My family's based on fun. I'm blessed that my father invented a music product called Spacewalk. I took his invention and I expanded it to over 500 cities throughout the United States. I did. I've actually opened up factories here. First one, by the way, is on 511 North Solomon. It's Ricka's Antiques right off of Carrollton. Who knew that Spacewalk started here? It really did. And then when we outgrew that, we went to Metairie. Then we outgrew that, we went to Kenner. At one point in time in Kenner, we had 3 factories on one street. The mayor of Kenner said, if you put in another one, we're going to rename it Spacewalk. Okay. And that's what we need to do. So what does it have to do with anything? Look at District E. What an opportunity. Do you know that you can't go to space without going through New Orleans. That's why NASA's here. So I will ask you and show you of getting it done through business.
Thank you. Thank you, candidate Skurlock. Candidate Collins.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. As your next mayor of New Orleans, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be for a better New Orleans. Our platform will be for life, liberty, due process, equal access to opportunity, and happiness. And yes, I do know it's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but I'm tired of the pursuit because the pursuit don't allow you to enjoy the happiness. What we're going to do is it's time to reset our city. We're going to start with sustainable housing. Anybody want sustainable housing, affordable housing? If you're a landlord, I'm going to implement the Road Home program so that we'll give you a sum of money that is going to assist you with your housing for 5 years. As a direct result, you'll have to have a wage an amount of which you would have to charge the tenant, no more than $575. If you're charging $1,500, we give you $70,000, and then you have to collect no more than $575. The great part about that is it's for working class. It's for working class individuals who still needs to rent. My goal with utilizing that program is so that a person can rent for 2 to 3 years and then become a homeowner, because it's about elevating and moving forward. It's about building our city of New Orleans. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys know, but during Hurricane Katrina, after Hurricane Katrina, the standards for FEMA was that we were supposed to receive $26,500 for 4 years. Did you guys know that? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and ask for the due process. Remember, I'm the due process mayor. So I'm going to ask FEMA for the due process. And you might say, well, that was 20 years ago. It's 1 year from the time of awareness. When you have the awareness, then you can ask for that due process. The same thing with HUD. They were supposed to give us 100% financing for 1 year availability. That's whether you was a renter or homeowner. These are the things that I'm going to work to make our city sustainable again. In addition to that, we're going to work on construction. As we work on rebuilding our city, the things we have to do is put reefs inside of the ground. And then once we put the reefs inside of the ground, we're going to put clay. When we put the clay, we're going to put concrete on top of the clay. What's going to be good about it, because many times we ask about our pumps. We say, why are our pumps not working? Well, it's because of the whole drainage system needs to be properly operating. So when we put the clay, the water will go down, but it will not come back up. I don't know if you guys know, we also have 11 retention bins around the city, but they're not owned, they're not operated by us locally. They're outsourced. So the catch basins, those retention bins are not being properly to assist us in this economy. The next thing I'm going to do with the sustainability is housing for homeless. We will not consider them homeless. We will have them to re-enter into society as human. I don't believe that many of the people who are homeless is it because of their own situations. I believe that as the city, they failed us. Many people have been failed. So we're going to realign them with resources and opportunities that they could enter into society as the humans they are, not as those who need helps and a handout. But our city failed them, so it's our responsibility as a city to rebuild them. I'm that mayor who's going to ensure that every person has a fair opportunity, equal access to opportunity, and an amazing quality of life. When it comes down to the people, the families, I'm going to take the airplane model. It says, before assisting an elderly or a child, assist yourself. In order to build a powerful New Orleans, we have to make sure that the strongest individuals are empowered with the resources. Think about this. If a child goes into foster care, we give them all the resources that they need as the foster care. How about we give the parents the resources that they need so that foster care will not be an option? This is our city, and we have many plans. This is only just a few. I'm here to knock out the issues, to knock out the lack, and so that we could bring in prosperity, that we can bring in hope, and that we can live together effectively and in unity. And in more time, I would love to get to know you all individually so that we can empower NOLA and we can empower our community, because together we're NOLA strong. I am Renata Collins. I am number 18 on your ballot, and I'm asking you to elect me starting September the 27th because our lives depend on it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, candidate Collins.
Thank you.
Candidate Butler.
Hello, everybody. Three big issues. I don't know if I have three big issues. I have one big dream. New Orleans, the reason I live in New Orleans is because I think this is about the greatest city that I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of them. And New Orleans is known throughout the world. You can travel just about anywhere and ask people about New Orleans, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, New Orleans, Bourbon Street, the Saints, food, you name it. We'll come up with everything that we've got." And that's a wonderful start. This is a beautiful city with the culture, the religion, the education that we have, Tulane, Loyola, the big colleges. We have everything we need. We have the river. But you ask people around the world about New Orleans, and you know what you'll never hear? Economic powerhouse. And why? We own the Mississippi River. Everything that comes to the eastern part of the country comes through this river. We should have bigger ports. We should be unloading everything here in New Orleans. We should have jobs. When you look at the news and you see that GE is going to reinvest $500 billion in the United States coming from offshore, are they building any factories here? It's not going to happen with what we've got right now. We have to build a workforce and an infrastructure that these companies can count on to bring in jobs. We have land in the east. We have port space up and down the river. We could be involved in all this, but people are afraid to come here because they're afraid the city's going to flood. And it's just because nobody has ever maintained the drains. Nobody has ever maintained the pumps. They're afraid of the crime. New Orleans has a bad perception of crime. Our perception throughout the world of crime is worse than our actual crime. And we need to change that. We need to start with the basics to fix our infrastructure, make people not afraid that their city is going to flood, fix the streets, fix the crime, make a cleaner, brighter city that people want to come to, and have industry come in so that we can have great full-time with benefits jobs for hardworking people. And not to denigrate the service industry, but that's pretty much for young people what they've got here in New Orleans right now. And they are leaving. Our young people are leaving. That's our tax base. That is our future. If we could just go back to the basics, fix the city up, make it safe, make it clean, make it unscary for businesses to move in, we could get a GE to build a factory in the east in some of that vacant land. And it wouldn't destroy the east. It would bring jobs to those people in the east. We could have bigger ports to unload products to ship all throughout the country. But we have no vision in government. And really, government is not the biggest problem. Our problem is management. We have a fair-sized budget for a city our size. It does not get to the pothole. The money dissipates between the allocation at City Hall and the pothole and the drain. And that is something that a manager needs to come in and fix. Somebody with construction experience, with engineering experience, and know how jobs are supposed to be run, and quit wasting money when we could be doing so much more with so much less. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give our candidates a round of applause for their ideas. for their boldness, for their frankness, and for their compassion. Now we move on to round 3, and I'm going to break the questions up a little bit for this segment, just to give us a different look. I'm going to start with Mr. Twiggs coming back this way for my first round, and then I'm going, Mr. Janusa going back to that wall. Janusa. Janusa. All right.
Boy, bread, that is
all right, Frank.
that's another one. That's another family.
All right. Well, this round consists of questions for each candidate, and there are 5 core policy questions in rotating order, and you will get 1 minute to respond. Okay, starting with candidate Twiggs. First question. What is your plan to reduce violent crime while rebuilding trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve?
Right now in the city of New Orleans, crime is going down at an exponential rate for the first time in years. And this is exactly what we have to do. We have to reinvest in mental health in order to continue that downtrend. We have to invest in officers that are going to be active in our communities and not just sit in their cars or behind a desk. We have to create officer-friendly programs once again to reunite the people, the children, and let everyone know that the officers in those communities are not the enemy. We've got to get serious about public safety, but we can't have a serious conversation until we bring mental health back to the table. And I think I'm close, so I'm going to stop there.
Thank you. Candidate Spurlock.
As I said earlier, public safety is the most paramount thing. It's simply whatever it takes. If we have to ask for assistance to come in, we will. New Orleans East is just a war zone, and it's not limited to there. I mean, I've heard gunshots all the time on St. Charles Avenue, and it's really troubling to think that's in our city. But no matter how many police we have, no matter how many criminals we have, it goes back to the DA's office. It goes back to the prisons, and look what we have there. We're basically the laughingstock of the United States. We've got to have the toughest, strictest laws. I think we should take our at-risk students and youth, take them on a tour, a field trip of the prisons and see there's a consequence, okay? This morning when I was coming in here, I looked at the police officers. Have you looked at them recently? They're wearing, bulletproof vests, all these different apparatus, must weigh 15 pounds. It's crazy how defensive we got. And all these police flashing cameras and stuff, those are very reactive. We need to be proactive.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
Thank you. So my question that I would love to ask each and every one of us, whose fault is it? Is it the people's fault? Is it the officer's fault? Is it the city council's fault? Is it the mayor's fault? Whose fault is it that we have the issues within our city? Together we stand, divided we fall. I do believe that as the mayor, my overall objective is to bring the resources. A lot of the criminals who are existing has been created by our economy. My goal is to reset the economy, to reset the people. And then together we will be a safer New Orleans. We cannot ask people to maintain who they are, but not give them food, services, and opportunity. We're all human. And I know that in each and every one of us lies a decent person. And so therefore, with policing and people will come together and we'll be New Orleans, NOLA strong.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
When it comes to crime, public safety, one thing that we need to do, unfortunately, is to go harder, at least for a short period, to get things under control. But crime in general, if you take a young man that's growing up in this city and he wakes up in the morning and he has no hope of anything else to do, it's a difficult thing to overcome. If you had asked the average young man in this city to name you 10 jobs, most of them couldn't do it because they don't know anything about factory work. They don't know anything about working at the port. They don't have a father that worked at the chemical plant or the refinery. And they need to be involved in a city where they have those potentials to move forward.
Thank you. Candidate Frank, Gen USA.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. I guess you've got to look at the reasons for the crime in the city. It starts with the schools, it starts with the families, it starts with the neighborhood. Just like a famous candidate said years ago, it takes a village, and sometimes it does. Two very, very important things that are not emphasized enough in this city. One is love, respect for each other, and the other is education. We dilly-dally when it comes to education with regard to something as simple as civics. I don't think they teach civics in grammar school anymore. Secondly, when I was a child, we had a circumstance in our, in our grammar school where we were visited by the assistant fire chiefs, the assistant police chiefs, to give us instruction on how to live a beneficial and respectful life as
Thank
children.
you. Candidate Carter.
Crime plan. I think after kind of being a social media manager and looking at the landscape, it kind of starts with division on so many pieces of it. And we need to get money in people's pockets. Our young people, like I said, that is my number one priority. We need to get businesses and our young people matched. Businesses need the work and our young people need the money. So we need a citywide business internship program. When I was out of town, I saw it work in Fayette County, so I know it can work in Orleans Parish. That's number one. Number two, we need to get some of these substations in our community. We do a terrible job with community engagement. If we give our residents more information, they will be more empowered. And actually, talking about civics, I actually wrote a book. It's called Faith in Politics, and I give the PDF for free if you go on my website. And so everybody, if you QR code it, you can get the book for free right there, EileenCarterMayor.com.
Thank you. Candidate Manny Bruno.
How can we be safe when we can't even put a working lock on a jail cell? That scares me big time. More police on the street, get rid of guns and you'll be safe. I've heard it all before. Maybe we should make bullets more expensive than guns, Facial recognition will not stop crime or save lives. It will just force serial killers to work from home. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Bickley.
Well, that was my earlier statement, was with crime, we have to look at the whole gamut, from policing, processing, continuous sustainment of the consent decree so we can get out from underneath that, jailing, prosecuting, and then fair, consistent repercussions and consequences. You cannot prevent a lot of crime from happening, but you can stop it from happening a second time. And most of our police officers, and I've lived in a lot of cities, we have one of the best forces out there. I do a lot of work with them. We need to support them. We need to support what they're trying to do. We need to give them what they need to do the policing. And then we need to follow through with them right up into the DA's office and start prosecuting these people. I don't care if it starts at littering or breaking windows of cars, all violent crime. There's no consequences and repercussions, and it's not consistent in this city, and that's why it just keeps getting out of hand. I would really like to tackle this problem. It's the top of my list.
Thank you. Second question, and you have 1 minute to answer. It pertains to infrastructure. What is your top infrastructure priority for the city, and how would you ensure it's delivered on time and within budget, beginning with candidate Butler?
Without a doubt, my top infrastructure concern with the city of New Orleans is flooding. We are in a situation right now where all of our drains are stopped up and our pumps don't all work. If we get a rain like we saw in Hurricane Harvey in Houston several years ago, the great flood in the Baton Rouge region several years ago, where we get, 30, 40 inches of rain. Everything else we do doesn't matter because we're going to be back to our rooftops and water again. So that is my top priority. There are many others that follow very closely behind that. But what is the point of anything that we do if the city floods again like it does in Katrina and we're set back to where we were 20 years ago?
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
So we've already done the research with Astrodam for the flooding. Implementation is necessary. So once I am in office, we'll go over those plans and implement them, because information with no application is wasted. We've wasted enough time, right? And the next thing of infrastructure is I want to be able to create a plan for how we as a people are structured in our economy, how we have businesses that are structured so that we can have more vitality, more life. So we want to be able to live in each one of our communities safe, and we want to be able to live there to where it's conducive to our lifestyle. I was praying to God and I was saying that, hey, I want to rise above the level of mediocrity. And in order to rise above mediocrity, we have to have a greater city, a greater New Orleans. So therefore, we're going to put in plans in operation for mom and pop shops all the way to corporations so that we could be able to effectively live in our great city of New Orleans.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Candidate Skurlock.
Well, public works is not only vital for sewage, but it is for roads and for other infrastructure. We have to be realistic. We're 300 years old. It's going to rain. We don't know what day, but it is. But we know one thing, we're on our roads daily. We have basically no resource right now to even file a complaint with the city. Everything has to be inventoried. About 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the city and I said, you've got all these vac trucks. They're sitting over in the lot back of the Fontainebleau Hotel, not being used. Let's put them to use. We have the assets, we really do, but there's no management in place to fix it. Same thing with Sewage and Water Board. We talked about 6,000 employees. Once we figure out why they're there, let's put them to work. And if that's not good enough, we bring in others. I think the streets are the most vital thing because that's what we use every single day. And that includes sewage and water at the same time. Thank you.
Candidate Twiggs.
Again, isn't it disappointing that we have to ask for the bare minimum in order for things to get done? We know what the problems are. The streets are a problem. The drainage systems are a problem, but none of it can be accomplished unless we have transparency. Here is the real issue, right? Out-of-state contractors receiving significant funds from us, millions upon millions of dollars that we continue to give these people that rob us blind. Until we activate transparency, we will have no continued success in this area. I offer a blockchain technology to where you can see in real time the budget, the city budget in real time. If you are a taxpayer in this city, you can see where your tax dollars are going. That's real transparency. You want to fix this problem, you want to fix corruption that's directly tied to infrastructure, that's how you do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa.
Obviously, one of the big problems we have in the city is how the Sewage and Water Board manages itself, or rather doesn't manage itself. But I've got a little different take on infrastructure. I look at the blighted property that the city of New Orleans owns. And just quickly, I went through the assessor's website and found that in the 4400 block of Charter Street, right by the Industrial Canal, the city has 2 buildings filled with graffiti, unoccupied, unused, that need to be renovated, rehabilitated, and retrofitted. These contain over 2.2 million square feet of usable area that could have factory workers in it, that could be creating jobs for people, creating a product that can be sold. And since it would be owned by private enterprise, they would pay real estate taxes. Now, these 2 properties are worth almost $38 million. They pay not a dime of city real estate tax because it's owned by the city. The city owns junk and owns blight, and it needs to change.
Thank you. Candidate Carter.
I love the question because it's what is your top infrastructure priority for the city and how would you ensure it's delivered on time and within budget? And when most people think of that question, they think of just sewage and water board. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it does include all of, the Office of Property Management and all of these other things. And so I have 2 words for everybody: project management across the board. Things are not running. I actually had a conversation with a large developer years ago, and he's like, this infrastructure project is never going to work because the way that they broke it down, it is never going to work. So we literally just watched it fall apart because it was never going to work. It was just too big. The plan didn't work. The project management wasn't there. It's not there. We need project management across the board. But when I do that, I'm also going to have a hub of project managers in the city of New Orleans to make sure all of our moving parts work, because our workforce has been decimated in this administration. If you did not know, now you know it's been decimated, and we need to give our money to our people.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
Infrastructure. I've heard this issue every 4 years that I've run for mayor. I'm tired and fed up of it. There's tons of money there that's not being spent, like other candidates have said. Why has Broad Street in my neighborhood been paved 4 times in 5 years? Why? It didn't need it. Someone's making money off of that. Why has it been paved 4 times in 5 years? Like I said, this is an issue that's been going on for the last 25 years. I think if you get rid of the graft and corruption, you'll have some good infrastructure. But until then, it ain't going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Bigledge.
As far as infrastructure, pick your poison. Flooding, sewage and water, electrical grid. It's all terrible here. And it really just comes down to what I've said all along, and I'm glad everyone else is saying it because maybe we can drive it home to the 3 or 4 top candidates. It's management. It's not a mayor's job to get out there and clean the streets or dig ditches. It's administration. It's for them to manage. It's for them to organize and get things done and put people in the correct spots where they can fix things. I'll use an analogy. The owner of an NFL team, I've never seen them go out on the field and play. They make sure that they have a quarterback. They fill all the positions. And at the end of the season or during the season, when someone's failing, they switch that position. They bring the second one up. They draft someone from another place. And at the end of the season, when they haven't made it, they start letting people go and bringing the right people in. It's all comes down to management. That is the mayor's job.
Thank you. Ms. Bigledge, we're going to stay with you. We're going to start with you on the next question. It's been in the news a lot lately, housing and homelessness. How would you expand housing and support services for the homeless while addressing the concerns of nearby neighborhoods?
This one I'm kind of stumped on because it's another ongoing problem. And you always hear some people choose to be homeless. And how do you force people to go or live where they don't want to be? And I think really what this comes down to is, I guess my idea, maybe this is the big idea I should have expressed, was maybe we get a coalition of builders together. We offer them some kind of tax incentive. We do something that makes it affordable and right for them to do. And then we take all the blighted and deserted property that the city owns, and we have them go in and renovate them. And then we can use that for maybe homeless shelters, low-income housing, affordable housing. And maybe that's saying, let's see what we have on hand that is available to us, and then go to the experts, the people who are building that we constantly say, well, you can't build that, you can't build this. Let's give them an opportunity to build or renovate what the city already owns. And maybe that may be an opportunity. It's a tough one.
Candidate Bruno.
Just what he said. Listen, homelessness is a huge problem. It's a mental health issue most of the time. Being hungry is not a crime, but I think there's plenty of ways we can work to all live together and to get along. Thank you.
Candidate Carter.
If homelessness is an issue that's the top of your list, you should not give any of our elected officials a raise. In the past 6 years, over $200 million went to Unity, and our homelessness problem has grown. So we need to come to the table and have a conversation, a direct one, number one. Number two, I do know of a personal situation, having worked at the city of New Orleans, that there were two large businessmen who were going to come forward and create a space where our homeless population could be treated with care and love and resources and triaged and have showers and things of that nature. Our mayor did not agree with it, and it did not happen. That could have been happening years ago. If you didn't know, now you know. And so we are in the situation we're in. So we did have the situation with Governor Landry due to it being under, the state highways. So we have to be more caring, but we do have to make sure our businesses work. And I had a friend as well who had, situations with that. So we have to be
Thank you.
considerate of our businesses.
Candidate Janusa.
One of the things I've noticed doing some research with regard to the homeless situation in the city is that there are innumerable 501c3 charities that seem to be handling the homeless issue, but each of them has their own silo within which they work. As a consequence, there's no collaboration, there's no cohesion, and in effect, they are competing with each other rather than complementing each other. And that is, I think, a pretty obvious thing that needs to change. We need to work through the city government with these 501c3s and coordinate things rather than, generate issues where they're competing with each other for funds. We need to bring them together and make it a more cohesive platform for them.
Thank you. Candidate Twigs.
This is a problem that should not even be for conversation. This should have been solved a long time ago. Here's the real issue. When we have nonprofits that continue to take money from us and don't provide the results that we have paid them to do, guess what we need to start doing? We need to say, as a 501c3, you know what you do? You pay us now. You didn't complete your mission as a nonprofit entity. You owe the city of New Orleans. This is not up for debate. This is common sense. We can end the homelessness crisis with one full swing. And guess what? It's very simple. When we have 4,011 homes available in the city of New Orleans and we only have 1,400 people documented as homeless, we can solve that problem very easily if we just leverage the nonprofits to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Skurlock.
What these two gentlemen just said is absolutely right. It's the nonprofits are fleecing us. All these churches and other nonprofits have turned into a profit for them, and they've forgotten about what their mission is. Just like when you grow up and you have service hours and community thing, you can easily verify what's done, and we need to do that. In order for us to extend something to them, they've got to extend it to this constituents. And like what Frank said earlier, it is about love. The homelessness situation, I do have a foundation myself. I understand reaching out. Many years ago, y'all might have remembered, I did the skywriting over Jazz Fest to lift people's morale and to teach them how to love and appreciate each other. Collectively, we can do it. And these ideas need to be implemented not on October 11th, right now, because the issues are here, and we'll be lucky if we make it to October 11th. It's really bad, and it's the homeless people that give us the really bad reputation. It's not just the criminals.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
Let's make things make sense. Although we talking about homelessness, how many of us are even facing homelessness ourselves? As the mayor of New Orleans, I'm going to empower us as the people. We have to build from the strongest ones who are still in, and then we reach out to the next person, right? With the economy in the direction that it's going, we're facing hardships. We're facing a lot of things. So I am creating a plan of actions to strengthen us first. And then we're going to strengthen the others. Do you know that although there's 1,400 people that are homeless, but there are over 10,000 people who are displaced? That means that they may be living with one another. We're going to create programs that we can hold each other by the hand, become a city, become a community again. And as they said, the nonprofits are not working. We'll bring those opportunities back to the city. I have hubs, 10 different hubs, where we'll be able to work and help and assist one another. Because most homeless people, they don't even ask for help.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
So I kind of separate these two issues between housing and homelessness. To start off with housing, affordable housing, the city is an impediment to affordable housing. they're not helping affordable housing. They're making it so difficult to renovate and to increase the number of houses in the city that it is unbelievable. If you have ever dealt with the Department of Safety and Permits, good Lord. That's all I'm gonna say about that. With the unhoused people, the homeless people, it's a complicated issue. It's mental illness, it's addiction. That goes back to crime fighting. If we could get the drugs off the street, that would be a big help. I would also like to see a program where the police would actually pick some of these people up now and then, and just to give them a 3-day break
Thank you.
off the streets
Thank
and let
you.
them go.
Thank you. We're going to keep it right here with you for the next question, which revolves around public education. What reform or investment would you make in public education to better prepare New Orleans youth for real world jobs and opportunities?
Okay, I've spoken on this before, and when I was in high school, we had VOTEC programs. I learned how to weld, I learned how to fix cars, I learned how to build things. And shortly after I got out of high school in the mid-'80s, they took all that away from the kids. It's gone. We don't have that in high schools anymore. And I'm not talking about VOTEC programs that you can leave the school and go to. I'm talking about in the school. They need opportunity to learn how to do different trades. Everybody's not going to go to college. It's just, and the value of a history degree anymore is almost nothing. If you can pay off your student loan, you're lucky. But if you can get people into the trades, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, carpentry, whatever, there's a lot of money to be made out there. A welder can go to school, learn how to weld decently, and go in making $35 an hour on the first day.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
Thank you for that. Testing. So one of the biggest things that I would definitely do is apprenticeship. I would also utilize the resource that we have on our federal level where homeschooling is a thing. Most people, when they hear homeschooling, they think, oh, I'm not well enough to educate my child. However, there's companies and organizations that we can partner with and give the different businesses the opportunity to give them a voucher so your child can go there and learn real life skills. We have to go back in order to move forward. I remember back in the days where if you were a farmer, if you were a doctor, if you were a lawyer, your kids basically became the same thing in which you were. So let's be more creative. Let's bring those opportunities to the mom and pop shops, to the small businesses, and give them voucher services that your child could learn in. We don't have to just be traditional. We can be able to be innovative and creative the way we educate our children for a better New Orleans, since they are our future.
Candidate Scurlock.
Our future is in the hands of our children. And sadly, we've had to lock down our schools almost as tough as our prisons. When I went to school, we had field trips. I remember going to Tonspicayune, Coca-Cola, and traveling. When the World's Fair came here in 1984, what an amazing thing for our kids and the resources. And as some of my other candidates said, those that left here during Katrina and saw what a life was like outside of the city. And we need to bring that back here. We need to give our teachers whatever resources they need. And it doesn't stop with that. We need to engage the parents to get involved in programs after school, have all types of modern technology. Now we have internet. Quite frankly, internet should be either free or at a great discount for anybody in school. It's a regulated utility. We need to have trade schools. We need to have opportunities to get our kids educated because, as I said, they're the future. If we want to go somewhere, we have to plan for it.
Thank you. Candidate Twiggs.
Of course, we need trade jobs. Of course, we have to develop a better workforce. Of course, we have to do these things. This again, is the bare minimum. We can't have effective change until we start to move away from the charter school system that has done nothing but view our children as billable resources. They make a killing off of each and every child. Each and every child is a dollar sign. After Hurricane Katrina, Charity Hospital closed. All of the public hospitals essentially were destroyed after that in Louisiana. But you know what they also did? They robbed us of our school system. And how dare they? They destroyed every single teacher morale that we can imagine. This is unacceptable, and it cannot continue. If you want to have a serious conversation about saving our children, you start at the very beginning, the very heart of the problem, and we can't dance around it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa.
Last documents I read concerned the graduation rate from our public schools in New Orleans. It's trended somewhat higher. It's now at about 76%. That means 24% of our kids don't finish high school. If I told you that Tulane University has a $2.2 billion endowment and earned $120 million last year, why can't they drop some money down into the public school system, bring their student teachers into the classroom, bring their resources, bring their supervisors, their administrators to show how the public school system should be run? I think that's paramount. Even Loyola University, it's got $220 million in their endowment. They've got resources, they've got people, and they've got logistics that they can drop into the school system and get the graduation rate up. And if you get the graduation rate up, you generate better education for people and more jobs.
Thank you. Candidate Carter.
What reform or investment would I make in public education to better prepare New Orleans youth for real world jobs and opportunities? My Office of Education, and I'm the only one talking about it, so let's jump in. I want to make sure that we are a powerhouse in this region with regard to trade schools. Everybody's been talking about it, but what hits us on a regular basis? Hurricanes. We should be the best at HVAC, plumbing, electrical, everything that it takes to build something. They should be coming here from around the world to be like, how are they so fast and how are we doing this? We can do it when we get our mind right and we put, get it together. So New Orleans, let's get it together. And regionally, we need to be better partners. That's one. All of our young people come work for the city, get a job. Let's put something on your resume while you figure it out. Like I said before, a citywide internship program. When my son was out of town, from sophomores on up. So you had the ability when you graduated high school that you had touched 3 different industries to see what you liked. Our children need that opportunity as well.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
Yeah, I work at Tulane, and let me tell you, they want to keep their money, all right? They don't want to spend it. Listen, education is the key to success. But we have people leaving the city, leaving the state, and we have teachers leaving the city and leaving the state. Pay the teachers. We'll have better success. I guarantee it. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Bigelow.
All great ideas. You can't argue with any of them. And I'm just sitting here thinking, a couple of mine were taken, but just imagine what we could get done if we actually brought in experts. People that have actually gone into areas with school problems, education problems, and have set up trade schools, have worked maybe with community colleges or colleges, experts. That's what I would invest in. Once again, management and administration, bringing someone who has done it before, who is a known entity and knows what they're doing. They know what works, they know what doesn't work. And we kill the learning curve. And it's just a matter of no one person, none of us up here, and none of the people who aren't here tonight running for mayor can do everything or know everything. The trick is knowing when to bring someone in and bring in an expert. And that's what we should do for education. Bring in people that know how to fix the problem and have done it before.
All right. Candidate Bigelow, I heard you mention that several other candidates had espoused your ideas before I got to you. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to start first.
You're all done.
This pertains to your first 100 days as mayor, your leadership style, your priorities. What would be your top priorities in your first 100 days as mayor, and how would you show progress quickly?
My entire life has been straightening out problem areas. I lived in 28 different cities. in 9 different states. And people say, why did you do that? Because people say, like, we got a problem, let's send Joe. And I would get it solved. And my reward, another problem area that was even worse. And I kept getting it done. It's actually my forte. I think I thrive on it as much as sometimes I would go crazy. I could have come back to any city that I've lived in. I came to New Orleans. My first 100 days would be 10 days. I would get department alignments and performance. I'd make sure everyone's on the same page, that they all understand how I feel about corruption or grift or graft. I'd make sure that everyone understands that we're transparency. I'd get state collaboration from the top down. I'd bring in law enforcement, create law enforcement partnerships with all different aspects. The sheriff's department, media teamwork, so we're all on the same team.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
Yes, my first 100 days, 3 goals would be to get together with the top experts to fight the crime, the corruption, and better our education. And then I think, like all mayors do, they travel around the world for a while. I think I'll do that.
Candidate Carter.
Apparently on business.
In my first 100 days as your mayor, I'm going to give you a state of the city. 90 days in, you are going to know what's been happening. We have been lied to. The city council says we have money. The mayor says we're broke. What are we? We don't know. Like I said, 90-day state of the city. We're going to go department by department. None of it is going to be done in a silo. And let me give you an example. When I went in as social media manager of the city of New Orleans, I called a meeting with all of the communication directors from all the departments. Would you believe that had never been done? Exactly. That was 2018. So I started something new. We had a communications meeting. Imagine that. So I'm gonna start a lot of things new because I know a lot of these people already, and we're ready to get back to work together. Y'all, our workers have been abused. I'm just being direct. They have been abused, and we really need to love on our people there.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa.
This would be tough to do in 60 seconds, but I'll try. One of the things that I've really enjoyed reading about is the Wisner Trust, which was the beneficial interest that the city owns and ultimately will hopefully own 100% of, the gift of Edward Wisner, subject to his 1914 will, which should have terminated in 2014, but that's another story. A certain office of the mayor decided that she would just simply let it go and just keep the money flowing to the original beneficiaries. This item needs to be sold, and it needs to be sold to the citizens of New Orleans first, so that as individuals, we can reap the oil and gas royalties, alligator hide sales, and sales of timber that come through this every week. Secondly, and I think more importantly, is to bring money into the city, not from its citizens, but from outside sources. The implementation of what I'm going to call the fleur-de-lis NOLA app, where when you come from the airport or the cruise ship, you go through a kiosk, you get an app that gives you discounts on food, restaurants, clothing, you name it in the city, and city gets a royalty.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate
And it'll
Twig.
generate $200 million.
Thank you. Candidate Twig.
First 100 days, we destroyed a political machine. We have to be fast and furious. Once we are in office, we have the opportunity to finally rid ourselves of this historic problem. We will have a mayoral takeover of the schools, legislative action to turn Charity Hospital into a behavioral health center, legislative action to overtake Entergy New Orleans and make it NOPSI once again, legislative action to merge the Sewage and Water Board with Public Works, legislative action to abolish the Sheriff's Office and place OJC under the NOPD jurisdiction, budget on a live dashboard so each and every one of us can see exactly where our funds are going. We will destroy the political machine. This is our one chance, our one opportunity. Do not waste it and do not let them fool you. They want you to think that there are only 3 candidates in this race, and I guarantee you, if I were on that stage, I would destroy each and every one of them. This is not a game. We can win this election. Follow where the money is going, and you have every answer that you want. You have the power as the voter in this thing. Win it.
Thank you. Candidate Skurlock.
First 100 days, roll back the clock. Wendy's, where's the beef? Really? Where is it? Where's the money? Where are the expenses? We really don't know. There's absolutely zero transparency and zero trust. There's only one thing I know that happens with our city. If you go to City Hall to voice your opinion, you're not given 5 minutes or 1 minute. You're given 2 minutes and you have to write what you want to say on a card. You have no free speech. So what's going to happen? Look what just happened up in Washington with the Trump Elon Musk thing. Some things good, some things bad, but something happened. Change happened. What I propose is at least 5 community members can dissect every single part of our budget, our economy. Here's the deal. I live out on West End in a boathouse. We have 10 appointed people and 0 live there. They're all appointed. We're citizens. We're better than this. So we're going to come together and we're going to dissect it. It's our city, not theirs.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
All righty, guys. So are you ready for this 100-day action plan? After I do plan the mayor's ball, we have a good time there. That's one thing, right? But the next thing we're going to do is create those 10 satellite offices. Those satellite offices will be able to assist with the resources and services we need throughout the city. We're also going to take down those traffic cameras because you got the rights to face your accuser. As long as those traffic cameras are up there, you're not given the due process. As well as we're going to expand our school zones with police officers because you have the right to face your accuser. We're going to also request a due process with the FEMA and also the HUD so we can have the opportunities for our funding. Also, we're going to meet with the clerk of courts as well as the sheriff to make sure that no homes are seized illegally and that everybody have the right to retain their property because too many people are losing their homes unnecessarily. So as your mayor, we have a plan. In the next 100 days, we will see New Orleans smile again as long as you elect me, Renata Collins, number 18 for mayor.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
In my first 100 days, I plan to visit each and every department in the city, starting with the one with the biggest budget and working my way down. And the first thing I'll do is go in and talk to this person who is the director of the department and ask them if they know what their mission is. And if they know what their mission is, if you are on that mission, are you singularly focused on doing what your department is supposed to do? As you go down through the different departments, we are going to find different departments that are duplicating processes, some departments that are probably not doing much at all. And we'll consolidate some of those departments into the larger departments, and they will be responsible to fight for their budget to do what they're supposed to do and actually accomplish something.
Thank you. That completes this round. Now it's time for your lightning round where you will be asked to respond to a question with a yes or no answer. So, first question, Mr. Butler. Should the city audit all departments annually and publicly post the results? Yes or no?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, and they should do it within 6 months, not 12.
Yes, it's in the plan.
Yes, it's all about transparency.
Yes, hands down.
All right, we'll stay with you, Mr. Biglich. Should the city limit short-term rentals in residential neighborhoods to protect long-term housing supply? Yes or no?
No, go to your council person in that district.
Kelly Bruno.
Yes, definitely yes.
Yes, follow the rules.
Yes, neighborhoods rule.
Yes.
No, except for the French Quarter.
Yes. Every area should be protected.
No.
No. And I want to ask the two no's. Why?
Private property rights.
What?
3 no's.
3 no's. Who do we have a no?
The very first guy.
The very first guy was a no?
Yeah.
All right.
This first guy.
All right. Let's start with you.
Okay.
No. Why?
My no is because I'm big on private property rights.
All right.
Uh,
Ms. Scarlett?
The French Quarter is basically a commercial district. That's what it's all based on. So it should be allowed there.
All right, Ms. Bigler?
Basically, how I look at it, yes, you own your property, you should be able to do what you want within reason. And that's why I think that the city council, the council person from that area should meet with the people and they come up with a plan. And then whatever the majority of the people would like to see done, create a rule and then follow the rules.
All right. The next question. Would you commit to holding regular town hall meetings as mayor? Mr. Butler? Yes or
I
no?
would say no.
Yes.
Absolutely, starting day one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and bring back the teletown halls.
Yes, I love a good party.
Ms. Bigler?
Yes.
All right. Why did you say no?
I think the communities are better served by going to their councilman directly and letting the councilman work who know the people in the room and deal with their issues.
Interesting. The next question. Do you support raising the minimum wage for city employees to $15 per hour? Mr. Bigler?
I don't know what you're defining city employees as, but people who are working for the city, within the city, or within jobs or manufacturing jobs, yes, definitely
It
$15.
says city employees, so I think that would be people who are working for the city.
Then I would say yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Long overdue. Yes, I was one of them. Yes, please pass.
Candidate Janu?
City records indicate that the current minimum wage is already $15 an hour since January 2022.
Was a trick question. Candidate Twiggs?
Raise it.
Yes,
Scarlett.
with full accountability.
Candidate Collins?
So that's a yes and a no for me.
A yes and a no?
It is.
Okay. So why is a yes and a no? I'm confused.
So the reason why is the poverty wage is only $7.52. When you raise the minimum wage, you reduce their resources that they could receive. So the only time I will raise the wage is if the poverty wage increases with it. Because if we increase our minimum wage and the poverty wage stays the same, we're going to reduce our need for federal funding. So in order to levelize it, we have to bring them both up at the same time. You can't do one without the other.
Okay. Candidate Butler?
I don't believe in minimum wage. I think that people should have a starting wage and then have opportunities to move forward out of the minimum wage economy.
All right. So you won't be confined to a yes or no on that.
Everybody else wants.
Okie dokie then. All right. Next question. Do you support a city-run scholarship or training program for young single parents entering the workforce? Candidate Butler.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Do you support a city-run scholarship or training program for young single parents entering the workforce? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
I think that could probably be done better in private sector if we had companies working in the city that needed employees.
All right. Candidate Collins?
I do.
That would be a yes, right?
Yes.
Candidate Skurlock?
Absolutely.
Candidate Twiggs?
Yes.
Candidate Janusa?
Yes.
Candidate Carter?
I'm a single mother, 100%.
Candidate Bruno?
Yes, and I also think daycare should be included.
All right. Candidate Bigler?
I say yes, but through our education program and a rebuild of the education system.
All right, thank you. Next question. Do you support expanding vocational training within public and charter schools? Yes or no, Mr. Biklich?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Unequivocally, yes, please.
Mr. Janusa?
Yes.
Twiggs?
This is common sense. Yes.
Yes, and we should invite industry to come in and support it like Junior Achievement does.
Candidate Collins?
Yes.
Candidate Butler?
Yes, I think I already spoke on this.
All righty then. Moving right along. Next question. Would you favor stricter enforcement of curfews for minors during school nights in high crime areas? Candidate Butler,
Yes.
Candidate Collins.
No.
Why?
Well, first of all, we're over policing ourselves already, and we do have to hold ourselves more accountable. So if we enforce another thing, then we're giving way too much issues within the city. So what I will do as the mayor is I will empower families to be able to work at home. People who work at home and have them to have more job opportunities. But we don't need more and more policemen because our economy will become a product of our environment. So with
Thank
over
you.
policing, we're gonna have a horrible environment.
Candidate Scurlock.
Yes, I would until crime is at an acceptable level. And I can also tell y'all, believe it or not, I got one of those curfew tickets one time. I learned the hard way after a high school football game. I went to the Butterfly and I got pulled over. And I had to justify not only to my parents, but to a policeman and a judge. And you know what? I felt I was wrong at the time, but in reality, they were enforcing the law because it's a public asset.
I thought you were going to say you got pulled over as a senior citizen for being out past your bedtime. Candidate Twigs. Candidate Twigs.
Yes.
Candidate Janusa.
Yes, and not just in high crime areas, in all areas of the city.
That's the answer I was looking for. Candidate Carter.
Yes, I grew up during the time where they picked you up, they brought you on two-lane and your parents had to come pick you up. So let's bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a high
When you weren't
crime
going to
area
jail, they were,
because
you were
there are
getting
no
corrected.
police. Candidate Bruno.
Yes, definitely.
Candidate Bigledge.
Yes, but definitely across the board, all areas, all communities, until people earn the right or they've earned the respect, they can have more lenient ones.
All right, let's see what kind of reaction we get for this question. Should the city prioritize expanding public transit access, even if it means reducing car lanes or parking in some areas? Mr. Bigledge.
No, because the RTA system is failing right now. Why are we going to give them more to do?
Candidate Bruno.
I'm sort of iffy on this. Like it says, maybe in some areas, I mean, it's dangerous out there to ride your bike. You know, I mean, people are getting killed out there. So I'm kind of on the fence. I think public transit is needed, but I'm just a little on the fence. I'd have to research it more.
I see. Candidate Carter.
I absolutely believe that we need to reduce car lanes, but 100% we need to talk to the neighborhoods first. We need to find out what they have different avenues of soft targets. And so you can get creative with those. So have the conversation with the neighborhood, like Algiers, they didn't want it, but you know, St. Claude needs it. So I think you have to have the conversation with the neighborhood.
Okay, should the city prioritize expanding public transit access, even if it means reducing car lanes or parking in some areas? Candidate Janusa.
I think my general answer is yes, provided that the neighborhood is in agreement.
Candidate Twigs.
Yes, but with certain protections.
Such as?
Well, for one, public transit as a whole, as an RT, as in the RTA, it doesn't need to be a for-profit industry. It needs to be absorbed by New Orleans itself.
Okay, so you'd be in favor of
public
it once
entity.
it's restructured.
Yes.
Okay. Candidate Scurlock.
Yes, and in several different ways. I'd like to bring back Smoky Mary, if anybody knows what that was. That was a connection from Union Passenger Terminal out to the lakefront. The next biggest thing to be developed is going to be Lincoln Beach. I mean, and quite frankly, I work out in District E. People can't even get to the food pantries. They have no transportation. We need to update and have modernized transportation. The French Quarter, we're going to use
Thank you.
Audubon. We're going to move employees to the municipal auditorium.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
Yes, in certain neighborhoods, according to the city, the community,
In certain neighborhoods.
according to the community.
Okay.
Because some, like it was said, Algiers didn't want it, but St. Claude, hey,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. You're being democratic, huh? Candidate Butler.
I would say no until a thorough audit is done of the RTA to find out what ridership needs and actually whether the passengers on the facilities are being charged on a regular basis.
All right, we'll stay with you then for the next question. Should city contracts prioritize local small businesses? And here's the catch, even if their bids aren't the absolute lowest? Yes or no?
To some extent.
Candidate Collins?
I would prioritize more mom and pop shops and small businesses with city contracts because our small mom and pop shops is the one who really needs it. And I would be willing to give them that extra competitive advantage. Yes,
Even if their bid wasn't the lowest?
correct.
All right,
Because
so that's a yes.
but it's for mom and pop shops.
It's a yes.
Yes.
All right. Candidate Skurlock?
We need a free enterprise system because anybody in this DBE games, let's be realistic, they all fake it. They do. On the Six Flags project, I saw it faked in front of my own eyes. And until we have transparency in that, we just should let anybody place a bid that want it, and whoever gets it, gets it. That's what it is. None of these game plan.
Candidate Twiggs?
Yes.
Candidate Janusa?
The answer is yes, provided that a type of scoring system is created and that the difference between the bid, low bid and the next low bid is no more than maybe 15%.
All right. Candidate Carter?
He took my answer. Yes, as long as they have the scoring system where the local could, be ranked a little bit higher with something like that. Absolutely.
As
Because
long
we've
as
been
they
giving
have-
our money away for too long. We need to keep it local and have our money, flush here.
As long as they meet certain criteria is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, because we have to read about the bonding because one might get 100% and one might be allowed to get 50. So you got to read the bottom line, right, y'all?
All right. Candidate Bruno?
Yes, but how small are these businesses we're talking about? Are they like the guy selling water out of his tub in front of Jazz Fest? Or are the little girls selling lemonade around Jazz Fest? How small are we talking about?
I don't know. How small would you like to make it?
Well, I guess if it's a business, it's legit. I would do it, sure.
Okay. So that's a yes.
Yes.
Mr. Biglich?
I think I earned a maybe after listening to everybody else's answer. We should start with strict credentials to bid
Okay, but it's a yes conditionally.
conditionally. And
All right.
then it could be a deciding factor if there's a similar bid or if it's close.
All right.
But you got to be able to do the job. Otherwise, we're back why we're all up here complaining.
Yeah. All right. Last rapid fire question. Mr. Biglich, should the city implement a 3-year residency requirement for new top level city employees?
No,
No?
but what they should do is if the going salary is 100,000,
Yes.
then it should go like 75, 85, and in the third year pay out at 100. That way they'll have incentive to stay.
Okay.
So that way they get the money they're asking for, but the city also gets to know that they're going to complete the job they're hired to do.
Thank you. Very creative. Candidate Bruno?
Definitely, yes.
Candidate Carter?
Yes, especially now. When I was working at the city of New Orleans, I was the only titled Black woman on the second floor. And that includes the mayor. So everyone knows what that means. I was the only one able to make a decision. No other native voices. We need New Orleanians running New Orleans, and we need to show it in this vote.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa?
I'm a little confused by the question, whether it means that someone should have lived here for 3 years prior to getting the job or needs to stay here after they get the job.
I think the question to me means that they should have lived here 3 years prior to getting the job.
I think the answer to that, in my opinion, is no. If there is talent that comes from out of town, experts, and they have substantial academic and manufacturing backgrounds, then we should look for the best people first. Although I would prefer someone who lived here initially, who is grounded in the city.
Thank you. Candidate Twiggs?
Yes.
Candidate Skurlock.
No, and for multiple reasons, just like Frank just said, if we found other talent, I mean, major CEOs move based on their performance. They're hired. Are you trying to say we can't trade a football player? I mean, that's what the people are at City Hall. They're our football players. And so we want the best talent. I was blessed to live in a town called Celebration that is a property manager, not a mayor.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
No. And the reason why is my biggest goal is to repopulate the city, and that could have a lot of people who come back home. So I do not want to ask them to come back home, but then don't give them an opportunity to work within the city. So no.
Candidate Butler.
The person with the highest expertise for the position, period.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yes, go right ahead.
I was taking it as they should be a resident for 3 years upon, taking a position. So I believe that they 100% should have to be a resident of New Orleans if they're going to take a position in the city of New Orleans.
All right. Position clarified. Now, we move on to the question and answer segment from the audience. Yes, I got time for 3 questions. Yes. Yes. Walk up to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Norman, you have to allow me a statement.
I have to allow you a
Allow
statement.
me a statement before I ask the question, okay?
Your statement cannot exceed 20 seconds.
Yeah. I'm Leilani Hino. I'm running for City Council District D. Belden, Mr. Batiste and I both keep going to these different forums and we keep calling them out because they're not inviting you guys there. I'm not sure why he's doing it, but the reason why I'm doing it is because people keep saying that this is a pivotal moment. This is a pivotal moment. In 2021, I ran for mayor because I felt like that was a pivotal moment when our mayor was misappropriating the Wisdom Fund, when she was calling a saxophone player the son of the city, when buildings were falling down. That was a pivotal moment. But none of the mayor candidates right now stepped up at the time. And to me, a leader steps up when the city needs them. And we needed them in 2021.
Time for the question.
So I stepped up. So my question is, those 2 pivotal moments that I believe that happened before this one was in 2021, when somebody could have run against the mayor who had more money than me, and also when the recall happened. Now, I know you stood up with the recall. I know you stood up with the recall. I know we both ran for mayor. At the time, and for the recall time in 2021, I want to know what each one of you were doing. Were you doing anything to stand up for the city at that time?
I got the question.
That's my question.
Have a seat. Yes. Mr. Bigler?
It's an excellent question. And I think I even said tonight in some of the conversations, I would have run. I wanted to run. What was I doing? I was doing myself financially and trying to save my skin and my business from COVID rules that were imposed on me. And they totally devastated the small businessman. And that's what I was doing. And I guarantee that's not going to happen if I become mayor. We're going to let the businesses run.
Mr. Bruno?
I did run for mayor in 2021. Yeah. People forget about me. I mean, it's easy. Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know how they can forget about
I
me.
didn't forget you because I
Yeah.
moderated the forums.
Oh, but I did run, and I'm going to keep on running. But yeah, it was a tough choice, but I'll run. It's not my last rodeo, or maybe it is. I don't know.
When I began 2021, I was the social media manager of the city of New Orleans. I was the voice of the mayor online, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You were talking to me. I left because I was no longer going to lie to you. So I resigned. And then I got blown away by Ida. I had some work that had to be done on the back of my house. So my son had to spend his senior year away. So no, I didn't vote for her either. I was away like, yo, come on. And then Mr. Batiste and I, got rowdy online. And as you know, we partnered up and we led the recall. It was over approximately 50,000 residents. And so I want y'all to remember that everyone was silent. We stood up. We got blackballed. We're still blackballed, and I'm still talking. So I'm gonna speak up in that closed door meeting, y'all.
All right, candidate Janusa.
What I did at that time, I proudly signed that recall that you and Belden created.
Candidate Twiggs.
I was 29. So let's see, I just started my practice, I believe, working with teens in the city of New Orleans. So it was a little out of my purview, unfortunately, but I would have been right there with you. So thank you.
Candidate Scurlow.
I was in private enterprise doing what I do, make people happy, both locally and around the world. Proudly signed the recall as well. But one of the things I've always been doing, regardless of in public office or not, being an ambassador for the city. I'm blessed to travel and I'm blessed to hear and see not only what I can offer them, but what the people tell me the great times they have here. And the reason I didn't run then, I didn't have a reason. I have a reason now because I'm a grandfather and I want my grandson to grow up in Orleans.
Candidate Collins.
At that time, I was putting my trust in the elected officials. I was not totally engulfed in the city of New Orleans from the perspective in which I am now. I've only learned that the city needs a person like myself after going to numerous council meetings, asking them to stand up and represent us. I was not aware, I was oblivious to the fact that we didn't have proper representation that would preserve the quality of life of us. So now, since I am aware, I'm doing the necessary things to be the person, be the mayor for the city of New Orleans, because it's a pivotal time now, and I will not give up on it, and I will not be silenced, and I will work with you. I will give you your voice back. I will give you your city of New Orleans back as it should be, in one piece, in unity, and in love.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
I signed the petition. I made my wife sign the petition. I made my kids sign the petition. Everybody I ran into, I told them to sign the petition. But I never thought about engaging in politics until after the era of COVID and Hurricane Ida, when I saw what we lost, what the city just turned its back on, the services to the city. Twice a week garbage collection. Seems like a simple thing to just have maintained, but they stopped it and nobody said a word about it. So many city services that we lost in the city just never even acknowledged that it happened.
All right. Time for the second question out of 3 questions I said. I see there are 4 people in the audience who want to ask questions, so I'll let you slide this time, only because I'm a magnificent fellow. Yes, sir.
Yes, I have lots of friends in the Panhandle of Florida, and they used to come here to New Orleans every other weekend and things like that to party and enjoy themselves. And different ones have been booted at different times, some for coming over for a passport office and being stuck in an office with a government official a little longer. And so my the main question is, what do you want to do about the booting issue? Because it's so serious as far as none of them want to come back because they've given their money to the city and they're done. And the other thing is, what is your first plan for creating jobs? I've heard you talk about jobs, but I want to hear, like, what company would you invite or bring, or how would you create jobs for the city? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Butler.
I'm not real familiar with the booting issue. I use Park Mobile and I keep tabs. I watch it like really, really closely as the clock clicks down so I can add more time. But as far as adding jobs, we're not going to add jobs until we get the city running right. We've got to improve infrastructure, improve public safety, get the streets running, get the blight cleaned up, and then we can hopefully attract some major businesses into this city that will bring the jobs.
Candidate Collins.
So when it comes down to booting, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop the over-policing, because we over-police way too much here in the city of New Orleans. That's why I say the traffic cameras are coming down. This is a place where we're supposed to live. And let me tell you, if you pay property taxes in New Orleans, it's illegal to have to pay for parking as well. You do either the other. So I do have a plan to where when we have our break tags, if you're a resident of Orleans Parish and you have a break tag, you won't have to pay for parking in certain areas because you paid it in your property taxes, right? The second thing with the jobs is that we're going to empower small mom and pop shops with resources and grants so that they can get their business and be competitive. We're going to empower us first. We're going to teach those who are local, who want to be developing and get tax incentives. We're going to bring that money here. We're going to empower us first.
Thank you. Candidate Skerlock.
The booting issue is two parts. There's the private sector and there's the public. The one in the public, that's easy. We're gonna get rid of all the meter maids right away. Quite frankly, I'm proposing if you've gotten a ticket within the past 1 year, it's all gonna be rebated. They did that when they had the toll removed with the G&O bridge. The private sector, it's a game with those people. They're like hawks out there waiting for 1 minute over the time. They go and boot you. I mean, it's pretty sad when you have to have a booting tree right there. Besides that, as far as bringing in industry, that's simple. Major incentives, and it's not just limited to films. We all heard about that. I mean, we have so many other, we have so much land in New Orleans East. It's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. So the incentives, we'll figure it out and we'll offer it to get them here.
Candidate Twiggs.
In relation to the booting issue, we can get rid of that relatively easily, I believe. What we have to start doing, though, in relation to stimulating our economy, is we have to get our people back to work. They are not working, and we have public works sitting there. And again, we have $650 million just waiting. We don't need anyone to come save us. We can save ourselves, and we can do this effectively if we just have the will and the common sense to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa.
The booting issue is a symptom of a bigger problem. The city itself is stuck on stupid. You want to bring jobs back? Delta Utilities, which just bought a natural gas system from Entergy, I paid my first bill. Guess where I sent that check to? Dallas, Texas. When you get a traffic
Wow.
ticket, and I've gotten it from the cameras. Where does it go? I think Sarasota, Florida. When you pay your energy bill, it goes to Baton Rouge. Those processing centers should be located in New Orleans, not these other places. When you pay your Louisiana citizens homeowners insurance, because sometimes that's all you can get, it goes to Charlotte, North Carolina, very beautiful city. Those jobs should be here.
Thank you. Candidate Carter.
Number one, if we want to change economic development, we should not give the chair of the Economic Development Committee a raise. She should not get a promotion. That's number one. Number two, the New Orleans Business Alliance. No one has talked about it in years. We need to revamp it. We need to talk about it, and we really need to start working it. I worked at the Louisiana Minority Supplier Development Council for 2 years. It's now the Southern Regional Development Supplier Diversity Council. Long story short, what we did was we matched large corporations with small businesses. I've done it before. I can do it again. All we have to do work with G&O Inc. and all of these regional people. Let's see what's on the cusp of really making the break, and let's do it. We are famous for two things: food and music. The fact that both of these industries are declining is beyond me. Let's bring them back together.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
Yeah, I would get rid of the whole booting program because I just got booted about 6 months ago. And my wife and I, we used the app and everything, and we had to go to the courthouse to try to kick out our tenant. And that's a whole different story. But we got back and there was a boot on my car, and we paid for the time and everything. We called the service up, and they were there within 20 minutes, like they said, to, take the boot off. But I was very angry. So yeah, I'd get rid of that definitely. And about jobs, I mean, there's plenty of jobs. Are they good jobs? Probably not. They don't pay well. To me, I think I would just, as mayor, I'd get together some city leaders and. Okay. So I just got booted. Yeah.
I wanted to see where you were going with that.
Yeah, you'll never know, Norm.
Mr. Biglich.
The booting topic is the same as like red light tickets, cameras, all that. I think that's like a quick sugar fix. The city says, wow, what do we have to invest in? The company says, nothing. We keep 70%, we ship you 30%. The city goes like, all right, we'll do it. Because once again, where does that money go? I don't know. As far as for small, I think for bringing in the business, I think small light manufacturing and infrastructure, we could do it, but until we've got our problems straightened out, we're not going to be able to bring and attract people. So maybe we offer some incentives to existing businesses that have been hit hard by government decisions, not by their own bad decisions, but by government decisions.
Thank you. Next question.
With 40% of single moms and kids living in poverty, and 50% of African American males is unemployed, as mayor of the city of New Orleans, how would you address that?
Thank you. Bigledge?
That's a tough, I think there's such a wide range of problems there and circumstances for each one. I can only say that I hire a lot of people at my business that are single moms, and I just work with them the best I can for their schedules, and I make a lot of accommodations for picking kids up at school and being sick. And believe that's not an easy thing to do when you have a hectic schedule and a scheduling system for the business. I think, you know, if there's more jobs out there, then people have gotten work. It's amazing. I don't have any single dads working for me. Never have any of them come in and look for jobs. All single moms. Might be something to that.
Candidate Bruno?
Single moms need daycare. They need it badly. That would be one of my first priorities to help that out. It's all about education. Education leads to success. And I will make sure that everyone gets a good education.
Candidate Carter?
We need to remember that these are our neighbors. We need to take care of everybody. We need to make sure that they have the resources. And we're talking about jobs. Right now, guess what? Like I said before, our workforce has been decimated. I was speaking to a gentleman. It took him 5 months. He still did not get a job with the city of New Orleans. We need people. We do not have institutional knowledge. A lot of these past years have been gone. I need you to come work for the city. I need you to love on the city. Police officers. I grew up and a lot of our police officers who went to high school with them. True story, during one of the protests, it was on the I-10. I was social media manager. And the aggression stopped because the police officer had gone to high school with the gentleman. And he was like, hey man, we can do this. We are neighbors. We need to love on one each other, and we can do it together.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa?
I read that being a single mother is probably the toughest job on earth. And if it's that tough, the rest of the world, it's much tougher in Orleans Parish. Unfortunately, that is a circumstance that we can't fix overnight. It's going to take a revamp of the educational system. It's going to take a revamp of families. It's going to take a better approach to marriage and childbearing that people need to realize as the future approaches them. They need to realize the consequences of their action. I also think that the public school education system needs to focus on families much better than they do now. They've got to get out of their focus on subjects which aren't really beneficial to the family unit.
Thank you. Candidate Twiggs?
We have got to invest in mental health supports. This is a crucial dilemma that we continuously run into each and every time. We need mental health supports. Not only that, but there is only one proven solution to poverty, and that is the empowerment of women. Whenever women are empowered, poverty goes down. We know this. This is an absolute fact. We need to end the school to prison pipeline. This is a very real threat that has continuously haunted our city. If you look at the jail, look at it. Over 1,000 people are in that jail. That is unbelievable. And without the proper supports, without empowering our community and offering them the jobs or the opportunities that they need to better themselves, what good are we except for one thing, making money for the prison system? That's what it is.
Thank you. Candidate Scurlock?
I want to elaborate on what he just said. The first thing I would do is on those jails and prisons, I put giant signs, prison, open 24/7, stop in and visit, because they don't know of a consequence. So how do you fix this problem? Because this is education, this is social welfare, this is stimulation of the human mind through education. You know what I would do? It's what I do best. I build things. I build theme parks. I build amusement centers. We need a water park, amusement park. What Troy Henry and stuff's doing in Jazzland is a waste. We need a public-private venture. And by the way, if you can't afford it, if it's partly owned by the city, they should go into it free. Exactly like it was in '84 when the World's Fair. They let them in. It created an economy. People were employed, people were educated, and life was actually pretty good in '84.
Thank you. Candidate Collins.
So to answer your question, what I would do is I'll implement, and I'm already having this in place, where we're going to implement the Minnesota plan, where if you're on assistance, you get it for 6 months. And if you don't find a job within that 6 months, we give you an entry-level job at the city hall or within a facility. By doing that, it will be an opportunity to step up. The current situation is once a person finds a job here within 10 days, they have to report their income. We're going to give them 60 days, get a job, make as much money as you want to, still get the resources. But if you haven't found one in 6 months, we're going to give you a job. You'll get half of the benefits and you'll get the rest of it in the wage of $12 to $14 an hour so that we could create a better economy for all.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
The answer to this problem is a prosperous workforce. When you have a prosperous workforce where people are making money and they can provide for their children, they can provide for their wife, the wife can get out and get a job and help support the family, the wife can nurture the children. That is the answer to this question. So have people partner up and not be single moms for the rest of their lives. I know that's a pie in the sky kind of thing, but you have to start somewhere. And it starts with a prosperous workforce. It starts with jobs. It starts with real jobs where your employer helps you with your child care and this sort of thing.
Thank you. All right.
They didn't give us enough time.
I will handle that. Please allow me as the moderator to do my job. Thank you very much. Question number 4, and remember, you're on borrowed time.
Thank you so much. So when I think about our great city as well as our great country, to me the problem is not the potholes or the booting or the pictures or even jobs. The problem is education. I have 2 kids in the public school system, and if our kids can't read and write from a very early stage, then that single mom can't get a job that's productive, or that young man can't get a job that's productive. So for me, the problem, and I don't know the answer, it's
Okay.
education.
You're supposed to be asking them a question.
Oh, so the question is, what are you going to do about changing the system to educate our children to be productive human beings for the city of New Orleans?
Okay. Thank
Everything
you.
you're talking about.
Thank you. That's the question. Thank you.
That's it.
Have a seat, Mr. Butler.
This is a problem that requires people that work in the schools that care. It comes right down to that. Children need to be evaluated and educated from very young and guided on to paths where they can succeed. We got into a situation many years ago where we started teaching to a test to get everybody qualified to get the SAT so they could get into college. And that's not the answer for all these kids. We need people who care, that can assess a kid's aptitude and put them on a path to success.
Ms. Collins?
So in order to effectively make the change of what you're asking, we have to regain back control. But I am displeased with the charter system telling teachers not to grade the children on their performance, but yet to keep their charter at a grade. So that's unacceptable. The next issue is that we have parents who can allow their children to go to school in any district, but yet the parents can only vote in their district. So let's make this make sense. We have to regain control. I only have, look at me speaking as mayor already. We only have the little Chase under the mayor's consent right now, right? So I will definitely make sure that that school is one of the best schools in New Orleans so that I can regain control of all the other schools so that we could properly educate by partnering with different businesses and having a traditional and non-traditional education settings here in New Orleans.
Candidate Scurlock.
From what I understand, there's currently a huge standoff between the school board and in fact, the city. I saw something on TV the other day that the school board says they're promised like $100+ million. They haven't followed through. So how can the school board effectively hire and have their resources? It goes all the way back to City Hall. We have got to give our teachers and educators the best resources. We mentioned earlier, we have 10 institutions of higher education, but it starts at the bottom, right? And I believe we can turn it around. A lot of it is a morale issue and faith and trust. And until we get that, we're going nowhere. So it just really has to be restarted from the top down. And the city has to put up what they committed to.
Thank you, Candidate Twiggs.
There is only one real solution. This is a historical problem that occurred after Hurricane Katrina when the school system was overtaken by the charter school experiment. That charter school experiment has not yielded the desired results that they have promised. My solution is a mayoral takeover of the school board itself. Once we do that, then we will have true power over our education system. I have been preaching this for over a year. We must get serious about it. If you want true results, you take that public education system, you revitalize it, and you move away from this charter school system that has only viewed our children as billable resources. I will say it again and again. They are not children in the school system. They are billable resources.
Thank you. Candidate Janusa.
Much the same way that the water is percolating up from my asphalt street into the street and the curb, we need to percolate our education system from pre-K up through the higher grades. Matter of fact, the young lady who asked the question with such passion evidently has experience with regard to education, and someone with her passion needs to be the superintendent of the Orleans Parish School Board.
Thank you. Candidate Carter.
I've been talking about it. Our Office of Education, y'all. The mayor doesn't have any clause and no, I don't want to say any skin in the game, but no clause in it. And so we need to create that. So that's where the Office of Education comes in. Like I said, it's not oversight, it's coordination because our education goes through the state system. So we have to work our way in to do what we can do. And that is what we can do. I will say, I'm a parent that has worked with these public school systems and these charter systems. I've had good experiences and I've had very bad experiences. So I've had firsthand experience with them. We need to deal with our truancy. We need to deal with tutoring. So many of our children have lost so many things. Like they said, we have universities and colleges. We can do a better job of educating our entire city on multiple levels.
Candidate Bruno.
Didn't we answer this question? It was question number 4, like an hour ago in the topic round.
You
I
get
thought-
another chance
Oh,
at the
well,
answer.
I'll give the same answer. Was break it down, start from scratch, pay your teachers.
Mr. Biglich.
We did hit that topic earlier, but like I said, we need to invest in experts and not just experts in academic, maybe in mental health, special needs, physical education, psychological, bringing the experts that we kind of encompass all the problems and build it right when we rebuild it. I don't think that our education systems have adapted to the technology that's out there today. And kids are bored, or kids don't like it, or kids don't want to read a book. Okay, you're not going to be able to make them read a book if they don't want to read a book. So let's find a way to adapt the new technology so they want to sit down and read and learn.
Thank you. For the point of clarification, the mayor has no jurisdiction over the school board or the process of education in the city of New Orleans. So to me, that's a superfluous question. No. Yes. Now, before we move on to our closing round, let me address the question that was asked of you that none of you bothered to tackle, and I know why, because it's almost damn near impossible. And that was, what do you do about a 50% unemployment rate among African-American males? Anybody want to tackle that?
So, well, my plan definitely included the male. It was not just gender specific, it was people specific. When I say that if you get resources, you get to have resources for 6 months, because currently in the city of New Orleans, you get it for 10 days. But if you get a job, you have to report your income in 10 days. Well, what my plan is to make sure that you go out, get the job. We're going to have the resources, have jobs. I'm opening up city jobs and things of that nature. And they're qualification specific for people, the unemployed man. But if he cannot get one, we're going to have that open policy where they can come and get a job at the city.
All right. Yes.
As I had said before, in my business, that's what we do. I was blessed to go to the UAE, which is Dubai, and right next door at Abu Dhabi, they have a development called Saadiyat Island. Saadiyat Island was built and completed in less than 24 months by 10,000 Indians. It takes a massive development, literally Disney World. Imagine what Disney World, if it was out in the East, or Slidell would have done to here. That's the only way we can do it. We have to have a vision. We have to have a dream. We have to have a determination to follow through. And that's what we need, is leadership to get something done.
Candidate Carter, I think you had your hand up.
Yes, and I was answering this question as a parent, so either a male or a female. I'm not being discriminatory there, but with our young men specifically, our city doesn't even do anything for fathers. Have y'all noticed that? We don't even do anything for Father's Day. How are we even worried about families? And we're talking about that, but more specifically, our young Black men, because they are special to me, because I have a son, and I have a personal relationship with a lot of these kids who I've played with over the course of these years. And you know what I find? Those transition years are very hard for them. You know, they're trying to figure out what they want to do. They don't know. That's why the city internships are very important, as well as partnering with city jobs. And that's why also the importance of doing those maybe hard labor, but the cleaning of the catch basins and the graffiti and things like that, where you can get some money in your pocket in a week, like we do during the summer.
Thank you. Before I move on to the closing round, anybody else have an opinion? Yes.
I think I've been continually addressing this issue throughout the night. The answer is to get better jobs for these young men. There are no jobs that they want to do. There are no jobs that they know how to do. They don't even know what they want to do, because they don't understand what jobs could be out there if the city was in a position where they could bring these jobs in. If the jobs were there, the young men would aspire to take those jobs.
Candidate Twiggs?
We have to invest into public works. If we invest into public works and offer scholarship opportunities to our community members, we will have an abundance of workers. We have got to start to look to ourselves for the solutions. The solutions do not exist outside. We know this. After Hurricane Katrina, it took forever for the federal government, it took forever for the state government, it took forever for private industry to come back. Why was that? When our people were here and ready, we can train them and get them ready for whatever job opportunities we choose to create through public works.
Thank you. Anyone else before I move on to the closing round?
Yes. I think the city needs to reach down into the public education system and find out the dropouts. Where are they going? What are they doing? Offer them the opportunity to work in the city, for the city, doing those jobs which seem not to be able to be handled properly, whether it relates to catch basins or overgrown lots in the city, or blighted property, or graffiti. You know, that's, to me, the first place that we should look.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Bickledge?
I just find it interesting. Every time we come up with a solution, it goes back to something that we're already having a problem with. So we say, okay, jobs for the Black males, but we go to education, but our education system is broken. And then we don't have jobs, and we don't have infrastructure. And it's just like this big circle. So wherever you want to insert something, it's like, there's the answer. Okay. Oh, well, education isn't any good. Okay. Well, put them over there with the job. Well, we don't have any jobs. Well, what if they work? And it's, the city has failed on so many levels. And when a city fails at that many levels, it just hasn't failed the physical stuff, it's failed the people. And that's where we've done. I mean, it's not just black males, it's white females, single male, single mothers, single fathers. It's everybody. We have to stop with that segregation stuff. It's everybody.
Yes, last word. Yeah.
The city cannot be the largest employer in the city. That is a business model that's not going to work. We need private investment into the city to create jobs.
All right, time for the final word. This is where the rubber meets the road. Why are you the right person to represent a new chapter for New Orleans? And what should voters remember most about your vision? Mr. Blickledge.
First, I want to start by saying that today's politicians think that their job is to get elected. And then once they're elected, they go, I did it. And then I don't know what they do. But it's not my vision. I just find that so weird because what's my vision? It's not my vision. It's the city's vision. And what's the city? The city's you. The city's the people. The city's who's been let down. And what we have to do is we have to have someone in there that sees what the city wants. And that would be my job, is to find out what the people want and try to get it done. It has to be long-term and positive. It'd be my job to make sure that we get that and find some kind of unity, not a political party's agenda, not an individual group, not someone who has a lot of money, not if Elon Musk himself came in and we said, oh, we just solved our job problem, but not if that may not be good for the long term. We have to take a look at what the vision is for the city. And I don't have to like it. It could go against anything I said, but if it's what the people want, then that's my vision. But if you really want my vision, if I'm elected mayor, I see myself working my butt off tirelessly, nonstop, to try to solve all the problems that we talked about today and that we didn't talk about. And that's what the job of the mayor is.
Thank you. Candidate Bruno.
First, I'd like to thank the Fresh Voices people. It was a great thing you did here today. Thank you. I want to thank all the candidates, except for that candidate with the boxing gloves. I don't know what that's about. And I want to thank you, Norm. Listen, all the great leaders are gone. Gandhi is dead. JFK is dead. Martin Luther King is gone. And I'm not feeling really well myself right now. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is my 5th time running for mayor. You vote the same, you get the same. But if you want real change, vote for Manny Chevrolet. Thank you.
Candidate Carter.
New Orleans, we have a lot of fires going on all over the city. I've worked for the city and I have been trained to run 2 fires. I've responded to COVID. I've responded to Hard Rock. I've responded to hurricanes. And I am ready on day 1 to be your mayor. For too long, they have been ignoring us. A group of residents spoke up in 2022. We unified. I have proven we can group together and unify. This is something that, we're thinking about. We've done it. Vision. We set one forth. It's already online at nolatoya.org. We created a list. It said, hey, these are the things we're concerned about. Each of you put something on that list. They ignored us. 3 years later, we're still talking. And I'm here and I'm presenting myself humbly, asking to be your next mayor. I love this city. I am a native. I believe that is one of the things that is causing division in this city. We are at a crossroads, New Orleans. We cannot take 16 years of a non-New Orleanian running this city. Every New Orleanian needs to do a heart check. That's where we are. We love you. We appreciate you for coming here. We are a gumbo, but it's time New Orleanians stood up and takes care of New Orleans ourselves. We are a neighborhood. We are a community of neighborhoods, and we can do it. I am not asking to do this by myself. It will be a community lift, number 17, EileenCarterMayor.com. Thank you very much for having me.
Candidate Janusa.
I was born here, I was raised here, and I'm still here. I'm a native-born son of the city, third generation of Sicilian immigrants, people who built the railways in the city, drove the streetcars, laid the pipe for the sewer system, and fixed City Park in the WPA. Also had policemen and firemen in my family. These men and women were filled with grit and determination. And that grit and determination and that powerful legacy courses through my veins right now as I sit here. And I will tell you that notwithstanding the problems of this city, a substantial part of it deals with the city's finances and what it does with its money and what it doesn't do with its money. For the last 50 or 60 years, we have run elections as if they were popularity contests and personality contests. Being a native son of this city means that I know this city inside and out. And that's what's very important. And we've simply got to close in on each other and work together and bring this city forward. And when I'm mayor, you'll have transparency, you'll have financial statements that make sense, and we'll get money from outsiders and stop overtaxing our residents.
Candidate Twiggs.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Look at the record of the other candidates. Look at the record. Look at the record. And not only that, but remember the situations that they have put us in. We supposedly have a $1.8 billion budget, the largest it's ever been. Prior to Hurricane Katrina, the budget was only $600 million, and people then received more services by the city than they do today, with a budget that is 3 times larger. This is absolute absurdity. We are in madness right now. I was called the Unity and Justice candidate by Big Easy magazine because that's exactly what I represent. And I believe more than ever, we need a healer, not another politician. We need someone that can unify the districts, not talk division, because that is what is going to start taking place before we know it between the other candidates. I offer a unique vision that has been hammered home for the past year. I have made sure to start this campaign started last May, and we have been hammering home ever since. There is a reason why the other candidates choose to block me from being on that main stage. It is because that I carry currently a 9% poll that shows that I'm at 9% in this city. I have the ability to damage this system, and I look forward to bringing the heat to them. Thank you so much.
You. Candidate Scurlock.
Well, once again, thank you all for putting this together. And I want to thank all my fellow candidates because it's all been great. I mean, wonderful ideas. And this is what, not a political, but a consortium of people that care. I don't know where the city that care forgot came from, but I want to make New Orleans a city that loves the most. I really do. And having said that, what I can offer is about building relationships because that's what I do. I'm only as good as my staff. And if people don't want my services, they certainly can, in free enterprise, go somewhere else. Same thing with where we choose to live. And so having said that, I will say out of all the candidates, it takes a relationship with Baton Rouge and the federal government. That's most importantly. And that means it's about economy. As a business leader that created hundreds of locations and sold products globally, I think no matter what program from education, housing, or anything, it takes an economy, and that's what I will bring. If I was the mayor, every single person here that wants to be involved in our government will and can be. Now, is the city going to be paying out? No, of course not. It's not about money. It's about serving. This is public service. And so having said that, I will say this. I will propose that on September the 11th, almost 1 month from today, we have round 2 of this, and we do it at the Nopsey Hotel, and we invite all the media here and all the candidates and do it again. That is exactly 1 month from Election Day. So we should get together because we don't need 3 blind mice running for mayor.
Candidate Collins.
First, I would like to thank the forum, for putting the organization for putting this together. Thank you guys for your time. As you guys consider me to be your next mayor of the city of New Orleans, I want you to consider, what does life looks like? What does the due process look like? What does equal access to opportunity looks like? What does New Orleans look like to you? Because to me, it looked like unity. It looks like creativity. It looks like New Orleans. It looks like a place where we come and build our city together, understanding the integral parts throughout each neighborhood, giving us all the fair opportunity to jobs, wages, and innovation. We need creativity. We have to stop over policing and start living. We can only be as good as our environment. I read the book, Living Above the Level of Mediocrity. And that was what I was trying to do for me. And God said, Renata, it doesn't matter how much you rise above mediocrity, but if you live in a mediocre town, you ain't going nowhere. So my goal is to build up the city of New Orleans to be the best city in the United States of America, because we all deserve the rights to life, liberty, happiness, due process. We all deserve a quality of life. We can never go above our environment. Even if you have a fancy home in a neighborhood, you're still in a mediocre city. Let's remove the mediocrity by joining together, becoming one, and being the New Orleans is designed to be. I'm number 18 on the ballot, and I am Renata Collins, asking for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Butler.
So with 60 days left before this election, there are two words that come to mind. And the first one is realism. If we look at realism and where we stand today, we look at this election. Most people would say that there are three people who are very strong candidates to win this election. But the reality is that those three, especially one, have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in their campaign funds. That's hard to overcome. They have got money from out-of-state contractors, different engineers, contractors that are going to expect something in return for that. I refuse to accept that reality. And what I'm looking for in this election is the magic. I want people to reach down into themselves and find the magic to not fall prey to those big three that are going to do the same thing again in the next 4 years that happened the 4 years before that, that happened the 4 years behind that, because they have all the money from all the power brokers that are going to get rich off of our tax dollars. Let's find the magic within ourselves to break that cycle.
Thank you. This concludes our forum. We want to give our special thanks to all of our candidates who have been wonderful. You have been inspiring. You have been bold in your ideas. You have been frank. You have been honest. And we appreciate your fact. Two Franks. Yeah. And Frank, too. And we want to thank the Fresh Voices Forum for putting this gathering together. And we want to thank you, the audience, for your participation. Remember, the voter registration deadline is September 10th, and the election date is October 11th. So good night and good luck.